Welcome to the lab. Your favorite VCT analyst here with another episode of the lab, of the Lothar's lab. Today we're speaking, or talking, or I'm talking to myself about something that will be fixed in 2 weeks, but right now you should be abusing it, and that is Killjoy. Killjoy right now is insanely powerful, and not only that, her lockdown is currently bugged and it doesn't get dealt any damage by any mollies in the game. So, you know, there's a huge patch change, right? They changed the mollies to like damage every single piece of utility in the game, but I will show you right now, this is not fixed. Look, this is not fixed. The molly from the brimstone should be destroying the lockdown. Can someone make a clip? And it doesn't. It deals literally 0 damage. So the only way of destroying the Killjoy lockdown right now is by using either paint shells or KO grenade or anything that is not a molly but still deals damage. Shock darts, Sova ult, Brimstone ult, and so on. Raze ult, right? But not a single molly in the game right now is damaging the lockdown, which is a huge thing, and it allows you to be insanely aggressive with how you play the lockdown, because you know that you don't have to worry about so much of the equipment. Like Aftershock right now, there's only 180 damage anyway, so it doesn't even clear it, right? So people should be able to, for example, to combine Snakebite and Aftershock, and that will deal 200 damage together, right? But right now, the molly doesn't even deal damage. The Brimstone molly is 55 DPS, but it deals 0 because it's bugged, right? So it's a huge thing, and because of that, like because of the reason that that right now there's a holiday break in Riot. This is in the game since release of 5.12, so 2 weeks ago, right? But they are not hot fixing it because it's not big of enough or like happening enough to actually game break or break the game, which I disagree with. I think this is enough of a big bug in the game to actually hotfix the game. But I can understand the reasoning is that the game, you know what? Maybe I'll just show you the tweet from Raisu from Riot, what he said when he answered to my tweet. So, due to how risky hotfixes are, hotfixes tend to be deployed for game warping bugs that block the game loop or would require an agent map or weapon to be disabled. Though this bug is disruptive, I very much agree, I think it's more than even disruptive. The reduced counterplay is contained to one counterplay case at an ultimate cadence. So, it is niche, it doesn't happen that often, but it has a huge outcome, right? So we can expect a fix on this bug next year, like early January, something like that. So in general, the Killjoy lockdown right now is super valuable, and because of that, I think if you like playing Killjoy right now, you should be spamming her on almost all the maps, apart maybe from Breeze, because she's not really that efficient on Breeze. So that's one thing. And also, just so you guys know, there's another, I don't know if it's a bug. It might be a bug, might not be a bug, might be an intentional change, but the way it worked before the patch 5.12, KO grenade was dealing the exact same damage to pieces of utility in his entire range of the defragment, so in the grenade. So it doesn't matter if the Killjoy lockdown was in the middle of the radius or on the edge of it, still the KO grenade was dealing full damage to it. Right now, it's changed. It deals less damage on the outer rim of the grenade. So it's not as easy and not as consistent to destroy the the Killjoy lockdown with the KO grenade anymore, which is also a huge thing. And I don't know if that's a bug or not. That's something that the devs will have to comment on. So, all right, well, let's speak about Killjoy in general. Like, I will give you some tips on how to play Killjoy effectively if you would like to learn something. And by the way, on my YouTube channel here that you're watching right now, there are also few coaching sessions that I did with low-ranked Killjoys to teach them how to play the game in a better, more efficient way. So For example, let's talk a little bit about the B setup. There's one thing that I really like to do when it comes to playing Killjoy is setting up my alarm bot, my turret to be self-efficient teammate, essentially. So imagine the turret is a player, and I'm using that turret in that regard. So I'm gonna use the turret, and that's gonna be the first step of the setup as a contact piece. So when this turret starts shooting, that means that someone is in this spot. How can I benefit from this knowledge, from this position of my enemy, right? That means that I can play in specific positions. When, for example, I'm in logs, it's very risky because you can get cleared by mollies and stuff, right? I will peek the moment the Killjoy turret starts shooting. I'm just peeking, shooting here, and trying to get a kill, right? I'm shooting once the Killjoy turret starts shooting. The same way if I play from stairs, right? I will peek the moment the turret has contact. Same way here, same way here. And I apply this knowledge in almost all my setups. I never set up the turret, for example, here. I think it's super inefficient because if I set up the turret here, that means that someone can be deep B main without being exposed, right? So those people don't commit to the site. And I lose a crucial piece of information because if my opponent is peeking from B main, destroys the turret, I suddenly lose the vital part of my setup. So I don't know what is going on exactly without sacrificing the alarm bot now to alert me from a potential push, right? So in all of my setups, I'm trying to be efficient with the turret being a player that plays very defensively for contact, right? It's just mimicking a player. So for example, I do this. Molly out more to the left, right? So the radius is big. This way, players are also not seeing the molly unless they actually commit, which is already too late. So they never know that there's a molly here, right? And now when I have that molly set up here, you can also set up a molly here instead of this one in case you want to funnel them. Let me show you what I'm thinking. Like if you're mollying this, the players will go this side, right? But if there's a turret contact and you're gonna molly here, then those people will go straight up to your contact in this position. So you know how to pre-fire because you use your tools as a pressure kit to make certain that the opponents will funnel into certain direction. And if they're gonna try to be effective with the mobility and just gonna go through the molly, well, then they're gonna push through big amount of the molly area, and they'll get dealt more damage when you're waiting for them. So yeah, so default molly here, waiting for the turret contact. Second alarm bot if we don't have a second sentinel on mid. For example, here, right? Remember, this is not the best area of effect because of the fact that it's just pretty small. It's not as big as the chambers alarm bot, right? But it's at least invisible, so that's the difference. And now, how we can play here is if you have this turret here, you can see there's a very limited amount of space that you can play with, right? But all of those boxes that I ticked before still apply. So you can play from stairs, play of contact of the turret, and still control mid, right? Closing the doors on ascent is also pretty important. Even if you have like a player in market, it typically he just can bait himself for the alarm bot, and people don't expect someone to be in market. And now I just wait, play the waiting game. You are an anchor on a site. So when you're playing an anchor on a site, you literally want to be very passive, wait for that contact of the turret, and just make certain that your opponents will commit to the push to the side. You don't want to be an aggressive player that just plays and just, that's my playstyle, that just goes nuts and, you know, goes like for some aggressive peaks with Killjoy, because then your kit is kind of useless, I would say, in most situations, right? Unless you change the position of the turret to be more aggressive. Like, for example, if I set up the turret at the beginning of the round before the barrier drops like this, and then reposition myself to the left, then I know that I'm hard throwing if I don't get 2 kills, right? Because I can play off the contact of the turret, and then I can swing and get a kill. But if I die, well, then my entire kit is wasted, and I also went 1 for 1 on defense, which is not good. I want to go 2 for 1 or 2 for 0 in this case. And the same knowledge we can apply to A side, for example. When I play on A side, I want to put my turret in a spot where she's not easily destroyed and gives me informations about players already committing to the site. Right, so very similar. I like my turret to be tucked in a corner, maybe here, and when this turret starts shooting, I pop the molly, peek, you know, it's probably smoked as well, and I have a very high chance of getting one kill and anchoring still the site. And remember, when you're a killjoy, your job is not to rotate off the site until someone else on the other side of the map tells you that they committed to the push or are already planting. Because your job is to make sure that your site is guarded. That's at least my perspective on how to play Killjoy. This is a very, very basic introduction to how to play the Killjoy and abuse the fact that also, well, your ultimate cannot be destroyed. There's another Lothar Lab episode about how to fully utilize the ultimate from Killjoy with callouts and how to play smokes with it. So make sure to check out that as well. And yeah, and abuse Killjoy while you can. She's still gonna be insanely strong after the bug is getting fixed, but right now she's absolutely bonkers. And if you know how to play Killjoy, you should probably play Killjoy because she's gonna give you some free rounds when you have the ultimate. Thank you for watching and see you guys around. Bye bye.